Back to follow-up segment tonight. Once again, American troops fighting in Iraq. As you may recall, President Obama withdrew all U.S. forces from that country in 2011, saying the war there was over, all was well. Many military experts saw that withdrawal as foolish and now believe that action led to the rise of ISIS. Today, U.S. Marines and Special Forces actively confronting ISIS terrorists inside Iraq. But the reporting on this is scant. The Pentagon says there are 5,000 American service members in Iraq. The White House says there's a cap of slightly more than 3,800. Joining us now with analysis, Andrea Tantaros here in New York City and Marianne Marsh in Boston. So a U.S. Marine was killed a few weeks ago, Marianne, when ISIS attacked a fire base in Iraq, staffed by Marines. I think it's fair to say the Obama administration doesn't want a lot of publicity on what's going on there. Am I wrong?
I think that's fair because it's a dilemma. The fact is Americans have opposed troops in Iraq for years now. The problem is if you tell them there are troops in Iraq fighting ISIS, it raises a whole other set of concerns for Americans, and rightfully so. But
isn't it more an embarrassment and an admission of failure by President Obama, who withdrew all the troops? Now he has to put them back because of the ISIS threat that was not there before the withdrawal of the troops? Isn't it more of an embarrassment for the president?
No, he withdrew the troops in keeping an agreement that was set by then President Bush and Prime Minister Maliki to withdraw troops at the end of 2011. He kept that agreement. He kept that commitment.
He could have renegotiated, according to all accounts, and two former Secretary of Defenses who worked for him. He could have renegotiated just as he did in Afghanistan.
Monday morning quarterbacking is great.
No, it's not Monday morning quarterbacking. Marianne, wait a minute. When you have two secretaries of defense, the Pentagon, all telling you not to do this, to renegotiate the deal, to keep people in there, as they did in Afghanistan, as you know, did the same thing. And you say, no, I know better than all of you guys, and I'm going to take them out. And then you have to put troops back to clean up the disaster that has unfolded. That's embarrassing.
That's the call he made as commander-in-chief, and he made a call to put troops back in there now to fight ISIS. Two separate and distinct challenges at the time. Remember, President Bush in 2003 dismantled the Iraqi army, which contributed to this situation.
Okay, but now you're going way back.
No, Bill.
There were plenty of mistakes to go around, but you're not going to see. You're not going to see. Wait, I got to get to Marianne, then you can make it. I mean, to Andrea. Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right, Bill. I mean, President Obama campaigned on drawing down the war in Iraq and prided himself on not voting for the war in Iraq. What we've seen, though, since he rapidly pulled out the troops, is ISIS seized $1 billion, Bill, of equipment that we left in Iraq and Afghanistan, 2,500 Humvees alone in Mosul, that ISIS is now driving around and using against any military that we have in the region. That is bad press for President Obama. Not only that, Bill, the cost of war, if you look at this, 10% of the $60 billion in reconstructive funds missing. I mean, that's the only one that can be accounted for. The rest of it is missing. They can't account for the money.
But that's the corruption of the Iraqi government in Baghdad.
And I should point out that the vice president, no, not only that, no, we can't track it. We've left money there. We've left equipment there. And Joe Biden himself said this was going to be the greatest accomplishment of the entire administration. So they selectively manage this war via press release.
All right. Then let's get on to Marianne. Don't we, the people, have a right to know what kind of military action is being taken in our name in Iraq?
Yes, of course.
But we're not being told that. The reporters are not at the fire bases. We're not getting accurate information. The Pentagon, to their credit, gives it to us, but the White House doesn't.
Well, the Pentagon puts it out. It's up to the media to cover it. You can cover this war anytime, and I expect after tonight many people will. But the fact is, oftentimes it is better to do things than say things, and that's used constantly in war. Give President Obama credit. Hold on, give President Obama credit for putting the troops back in there, because of course, I agree with Andrea. He kept his campaign promise to take the troops out. He kept the agreement by President Bush. But to put them back in is the last thing he wanted to do,
and he did it
because it was needed.
Why did he have to do it? Why did he have to do it?
But it's more than that. It's more than that. Because Hillary Clinton, on the campaign trail, has vowed not to put American troops back on the ground in that battlefield.
Right.
And now President Obama has done exactly that.
Yeah.
So it's a campaign issue.
It's an excellent point. She does not want to talk about her vote for the Iraq War. She does not want to talk about being Secretary of State and how under Obama's tutelage ISIS metastasized, especially when she was Secretary of State. So to admit that we have to put troops back in Iraq means a concession of failure, and that's not what this administration wants to do. But on the point about how they run this war, the war is being run out of Valerie Jarrett's office. The war is being run
You
out
don't
of
know
the
that to be true.
Well, Bill,
I mean,
you do when you look at the rules of engagement and you talk to the military commander. No, we talk to these guys. The generals and the DOD officials.
To put Valerie Jarrett up as the commander of the war, I don't think is accurate.
Well,
but anyway,
she's making the calls, and they are releasing information about this war via press release.
I'm not sure she's making the calls.
But
the bottom line is, for everybody, we the people deserve to know if American troops are fighting a war in Iraq again. Let's get on it. Ladies, thank you.